It's your man, Chris Godrock.
What's up, my family? It's Maliki and Sweet Senorita.
It's your boy, Dirty Gerbil. This is All Mails from the Critics. I just finished my interview at C.O.O.L Radio, and I'm just letting you guys know that you guys need to tune in every Thursday at 8 p.m. because this place is wild.
Of course! Don't touch that dial.
If you miss your diss, you understand? Relax.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the show. We're back on the air. It's your man DM Cool, and this is C.O.O.L Radio. Later on in the show, we got my man Femi Lawson coming in. But for now, ladies and gentlemen, you're now tuned to CFRE 91.9 FM. It's your man DM Cool. And you're now tuned into the one and only, the fabulous, the ultimate, the coolest show on the net going on right now. You already know what it is. Ladies and gentlemen, this is called C.O.O.L Radio.
You didn't know? Your ass better call somebody!
Your ass better call somebody indeed if you're not tuned in right now, because we are live on the air. And I'd like to say that I'm so glad to be back. I know we had a little bit of a mishap last week, but it's all good. I'm here to rectify that, because later on tonight's broadcast, we have the YouTube sensation, funny man extraordinaire, your host with the most. I'm talking about my man Femi Lawson. Nah, I mean, he will be coming on tonight's show, and it's definitely gonna be hilarious. I guarantee all the good jokes and laughs are gonna be for you in store. But before we do that, there's a little something that we need to get to that we haven't been getting to in quite some time. Obviously, with us not being on the air last week, what have you. And I'm talking about Let That Ish Breathe. So let's drop that real quick.
Let this bitch breathe!
Yeah, so you guys already know how I like to do, man. I like to get a few things off my chest, and I want to hear what you guys have to say about it, because that's how I like to do it. I like to exchange ideas and thoughts with the people who are listening. And so on that note, this past week, I've been noticing somewhat of a trend on social media in general, to put it lightly. Now, I've been noticing that there have been some women who have, switched gender roles with their male counterparts, so to speak. I'm talking about women proposing to men. Yes, you heard that correctly. I'm talking about women getting down on one knee and them taking out an engagement ring and putting on their man's finger. I've been seeing a lot of that lately on social media. I don't know how long it's been going on for, but there's been a lot of that going on nonetheless. And I want to know what you guys think about it. Now, to me, it looks awkward, obviously, because we've been so conditioned to the norm in the sense where the man has to propose and he has to buy the engagement ring and all that good stuff. But I see it as, something as a quote-unquote progressive movement. Now, there are a lot of females out there who aren't too comfortable with that. They think it's wrong, yada, yada. But at the same time, a lot of the women who are saying that this is wrong are the same women who preach and shout that women deserve equality in society. And rightfully so, they do deserve equality because they are people, obviously. But I feel like the women who are outraged by this movement, if you will, are the ones who only want equality when it best suits them. When equality is in their deck of the cards, so to speak, then they will decide to play that card. But when, it comes to a matter of taking the good with the bad, they don't want to do that. And mind you, I'm not talking about all women. I'm talking about the women who want to use equality to their advantage. And obviously, equality isn't being used to their advantage in this situation, mainly because it's the woman having to do, quote unquote, the work and what have you. And I would, even say that this is somewhat of a challenge to some of the women who don't understand the challenges that men have to go through on a daily basis. Now, obviously, if society has it its way, then, males are the dominant species, quote unquote, which means obviously we're going to have more responsibility to take on our hands. Now, a lot of people don't understand that the responsibility of being a man, in terms of the relationship aspect, is very difficult. You have to be that one man to that woman. You have to be the provider. You have to be the one who makes sacrifices more times than less. You have to be the one to be the leader of the situation more times than less. And a lot of women either don't understand that, or they take that for granted. And so this is a nice, change of pace. I would find. Would I have my woman propose to me? It would catch me off guard. Do not get me wrong. It would catch me off guard 100%. But, if I know that that's the woman that I'm going to spend the rest of my life with, I'm not going to say no the minute she does it and be like, no, I'm the man. I'm supposed to propose to you. No, she took it upon herself to take initiative, to be assertive, and say, that's the man I want. That's the man I'm going to spend the rest of my life with. I'm going to do this. I have no problem with that. In fact, I respect that. And even beyond that, I respect a woman who has enough cojones, if you will, to go up to a man and say, hi, how are you? Because, again, a lot of people don't understand the pressure that men have to go through in terms of courting a woman, especially when it comes to meeting a woman for the first time, just going up to her out of nowhere and being like, hey, how you doing? It takes a lot of pressure. It takes a lot of guts to do that. Some guys do it no problem. Other guys, they'll just let 1,000,001 girls pass them by because they don't have enough courage to just drum something up out of nowhere. And, it's understandable. So I'm not mad at it. It does look out of the ordinary, and it's only looking out of the ordinary because of what society has taught, or not taught, but ingrained in us over the years, especially when it comes to Disney, saving every damsel in distress that you see and what have you. But at the end of the day, if I see a girl propose to a guy, I'm not mad at it. Let her do her thing. That's the man she wants, and she is willing to go through that length to do so, then who am I to judge? Who am I to judge? No one at all. So do your thing, girl. Do your thing, women. If you guys want to propose to your man, be my guest. I have no problem with that at all whatsoever. And on that note, we got to go to another commercial break. Coming up after the break, we got some things to discuss that I like to call numbers on the board, if you will. And then later on, after that, we will have Mr. Funny Man himself, Femi Lawson, in the building. So keep it locked. This is C.O.O.L Radio. You already know. Yeah. The earth is healthy and whole. Sounds like Christian Bale right now. Anyways, welcome back to the show, people. You're now tuned to CFRE 91.9 FM. It's the man DM C.O.O.L. You're now tuned into C.O.O.L Radio. Now, before we left for commercial break, I discussed, the new movement happening of women proposing marriage to their men. And already I'm having quite a few people hit me up on Twitter and Facebook about this and stuff like that, which is what I want to see. So if you have an opinion about women proposing to men, please hit me up on Twitter at DM_cool, and also the C.O.O.L Radio Twitter handle at C.O.O.L_radio, because I want to hear your responses. This is a good topic. I might even have to make a video about this because this stuff is crazy right now. So moving on, and shoot, we might even get Femi's take on that as well too. But anyways, moving on, we're going to go to a little segment that I have rebranded. We had the chalk block, but now I'm going to rebrand it to numbers on the board. And the reason why I'm going to do that is because, numbers don't lie. People like to talk about certain things, and the more people who are talking about it, the more that other people are going to be socially engaged. What the hottest topic is on social media, what people in the news are talking about, this, that, and a third, which is why I like to call it numbers on the board. If I can get a handle, or not a handle, if I can get a drop for that, trust me, I will. And so we're going to call it numbers on the board going forward whenever we don't have a guest in this slot of the show, and or if the guest is on the way. So with that being said, enough clarification, let's get into it. Now, this entire week has been all about Nicki Minaj, okay? Now, Nicki Minaj is getting ready to release a new album, but during this whole time period, a lot of people are, suspecting that she's taking shots at her female counterpart, Iggy Azaelia. Now, Iggy Azaelia has been blowing up this entire summer, and she's had 2 hits that have gone number 1 in the charts, and she's primed to be the next big thing, not only for females in rap, but just females in music in general. Like, she's about to be that next pop star in music. And Nicki seems to not be taking a great liking to this indeed. So we're going to break this down, all right, because this needs to be broken down indeed. I've been having conversations with a bunch of Nicki stans, if you will. I'm not going to mention no names, but I'm just saying you guys have been pole jocking her like she has nothing left. But nonetheless, we're gonna break this down. All right, we're gonna break this down so it's forever broken down. So this first started, I suspect at least, that this first started at the BET Awards that nobody watched. This past, I think, June, if I'm not mistaken, could be June. Proof that I did not watch. I didn't even know it was on. Anyways, so basically what happened was Nicki Minaj and Iggy Azaelia were in the same category. It was for Best Female Rapper. Now, at this point in time, Iggy already had 2 songs that went to #1 on the charts. As far as Nicki goes, she had one song called "Looking Ass." That was one with the Malcolm X picture and what have you. And then she may have released another song before that. I'm not too sure. But basically, depending on what the guidelines for winning a BET award is, as far as the timeline and when you were to have released a certain song or album or anything like that, I don't know the parameters. But just from hindsight, I would say that Nicki didn't deserve to win that award because she had been relatively silent for the time being. She's been silent for a while. Like Looking Ass and then the other one that she had dropped were like the only 2 records that we had heard from her within like the last 6 months, if you will, or 5 months during that time, if you want to be specific. Now, she won the award, of course, and basically she did a little speech, but she proceeded to say that she writes her own stuff. If you hear Nicki spit it, Nicki wrote it. And that was an obvious shot to Iggy Azalea because there were reports surfacing, or rumored reports rather, that T.I. had been writing all of Iggy's songs. Now, in the business of music, having a person write a song for you, aka a songwriter, is pretty normal. But in the standards of hip-hop, if you have someone write for you, then you're not a real MC. So that's where, the controversy stems from, if you will. Now, going on to that, I feel like Nicki should have been the bigger person and should have just accepted her award and walked off the damn stage. Because in my opinion, if you are addressing someone, whether it be blatantly addressing them by name or you're doing it subliminally, you are showing some sort of insecurity, especially if you're in the situation where you did relatively nothing all year and you won an award just based off of your name alone. Maybe she was saying that as a form of guilt because she knew she didn't deserve that award at that part in time. That could have been it. Who knows? But that's when it first started. And then she later, goes on Twitter, not that same night, but just later on in time, of course. She goes on Twitter. And then she has, somewhat of a rant, if you will. So basically, this is how the rant started. She posted the album art, or sorry, not the album art, the single art for her new single, which is entitled Anaconda. Now, Anaconda, the album cover, or the single cover rather, very provocative, if you will. Basically, it's her in a twerking position where she's wearing nothing but a bra and a G-string with Jordans on, and the ass is all out like wham, basically. Now, everyone was giving her flack for it because she was showing too much ass, it's too provocative, yada, yada, yada. And before I go on to the race thing, let me say this about the picture. I feel like Nicki, at this point in her career, 2 albums in, yet at the top of the pop market industry, if you will, doesn't need to do that. You don't need to show your ass out like that in order for the people to tune in. If you want to create some sort of controversy or stir, do that. But I feel, in my opinion, as much of a non-Nicki fan that I have, her brand is so strong that she doesn't have to resort to over-sexualization. Leave that to the clowns like Miley Cyrus. Leave that to the overly thirsty Rihanna. Leave that to them. You are at a point in your career where you don't need to do that anymore. And it's funny because she said a few months prior that she wants to drop the wigs and the loud outfits because she wants to exude more of a natural look, and she wants to show her competitors and her fans that she's a lot more serious this time around about her music. So if that's the case, then why are you posing up in nothing but a G-string, bra, and Jordans? Because right now she's looking like a glorified hood rat in that picture, in my opinion. And that that contrast to exactly what she said in that statement about people wanting to take her seriously. Because right now we're taking you as a gimmick. Not only that, but that picture that she put out as her single cover is more reminiscent of the pictures that she used to put of herself back when she was being managed by Gucci Mane's camp, which is Deborah Atney and the whole 1017 Brick Squad. And this is way back in 2008. That's the stuff that she used to be doing. Everyone remembers back in that time period when she was posed up in the hoodie with the brown panties and the stripe pattern. She's licking the lollipop with a leg spread eagle, looking like Lil' Kim in 95. Even after she did that, she said how she doesn't want to do those types of pictures anymore. So why are you reverting back to that? I sense a little hypocrisy going on right now with Nicki. So going forward now with the whole race thing, she made tweets on Twitter talking about how, and I'm paraphrasing, mind you, when I say this, but racism still exists in the world. Black people have to work twice as hard to get ahead, where the white man doesn't have to necessarily, which for the most part is true. I agree. And that stems from white privilege, of course. Now, we're not going to talk about that. That's a whole other topic in itself. Basically, her challenge to everyone scrutinizing her for the picture and what have you was the fact that she posted a picture on Instagram with a bunch of Sports Illustrated models, and they were posed up in nothing but G-strings and pretty much the same attire that Nicki had, minus the Jordans. Now, they were getting praise for it, but what Nicki was doing, which is the exact same thing, in her eyes, she was getting flack for it. And she kept on saying how it's okay for these white girls to do it, but it's not okay for a black girl like me to do it. Now, generally speaking, yes, there is the double standard to that, but here's my thing, and Nicki's very clever, but she's not clever enough to get past me because I can sense that she's playing chess right now, because she's using that angle as an aside or as a front to cover up the insecurities within her own self that allude to the fact that Iggy Azaelia may possibly steal her spot in the next couple of months as the most dominant female rapper and also one of the more dominant pop figures in entertainment. Now, here's my thing. Going back to the white privilege topic and what have you, a lot of people have this misconception that white rappers will always get a pass. They'll always be successful. They're the ones that will sell. And this couldn't be further from the truth, because the only white rapper who has sold a shit ton of records, pardon my French, and also has stayed relevant to this day and has any credibility in hip-hop and music as a whole is Eminem. Eminem is the only white rapper to come out in the history of hip-hop to have this long of a career, to have made this amount of record sales, and to be one of the more credible rappers in the game. Let's break down the list, shall we? Asher Roth, Paul Wall, Apathy. We can go to some of our Canadian compadres like Classified or Bishop Brigante, V Nasty, Creation. Anyone remember her? All these rappers have been in the game for X amount of time and have not even equated anywhere near the success that Eminem has gotten. Financially, credit speaking wise, critically acclaimed, nothing. So that whole white rappers get ahead faster than the black rappers do is bullshit. It's just a cop-out. The only thing I will say in agreement to what that theory stands for is the fact that if you are a white rapper, you may get as much as a foot in the door or a head start, so to speak. But you still have to keep on running and not stumble. Because there have been plenty of white rappers who have come out that have stumbled along the way. Cough, cough, Vanilla Ice. Like, let's not pretend that this man doesn't exist. So going back to the whole race argument, I find that to be BS. And as far as Iggy goes, I, to be honest, have yet to listen to a plethora of her music. I've only heard Fancy. That's about it. I don't know how long this girl's going to be around for. People are saying she's just a gimmick. They said the same thing about Eminem, and look where he's at right now. Iggy, she's being tutored under T.I., so as long as he doesn't teach her to go to jail after you make a hot album, then she should be okay. But, I expect more from Nicki because this is the same flack. The same flack that she's giving her is the same flack that she was being given to by Lil' Kim when she was first coming out. Not in the exact same circumstance, but generally speaking, one dominant female attacking another. And Nicki was the first person to say that she wants as many female rappers to be in the game as possible. But now that you have this white blonde girl with blue eyes coming into the game, now you feel threatened? How is it that you didn't feel threatened being the only female in the game with a whole bunch of male rappers and competing against them, but now you feel threatened that one female rapper is coming for your spot and she just happens to be white? Ladies and gentlemen, let's not play the race card, all right? I mean, whether or not her whiteness is an advantage remains to be seen, or is irrelevant at this point. Make good music, and this should teach her and other people who want to follow in her footsteps that gimmicks don't last. Music does. Lyrics do. I'm not saying don't put out a club record or nothing like that. I'm not saying that. But gimmicks will only give you so high of a ceiling before people get bored of it. Case in point, 2 Chainz. And that's all I got to say about that matter. And I may or may not have something to say about this later on in the show. Hashtag spoiler alert. And on that note, we're going to get to a commercial break. Keep it locked. We still got Femi Lawson coming on the way, but we got some more music to get to, so keep it locked. With that being said, this is Cool Radio. Stay tuned. We'll be right back after these. I'm really digging the fact that I'm learning a lot about Grizzlies right now. I didn't really know all that stuff, but cool. Anyways, ladies and gentlemen, you're now tuned to CFRE 91.9 FM. It's your man, DM Cool, and this is Cool Radio. In a second, we got my man Femi Lawson coming through in the building. But before we get to that, we got to get to some trip talk, all right? We're going to get some trip talk. We're going to speed this trip talk up a little bit because we got some things to get to. AKA getting Femi Lawson in the building right now. But anyways, on that note, let us begin. So, first topic on deck for Trip Talk is a list that hiphopdx.com has facilitated themselves. And this list is basically describing the top 15 rappers in Canada apart from Drake, all right? So this list was quite interesting, actually. I want to know what you guys think about it. So we're going to talk about this, and then afterwards we're going to keep it moving, all right? So, first of all, the names that they listed, I gotta find this, actually. So, one of the people that appeared on the list was, of course, Cardinal Official, because he has been holding it down for God knows how long. Then they also had Maestro Fresh West, who was on this list. We had Rich Kid. Rich Kid was a bonus edition on this list. Basically, it was a mishmash of guys who are currently in the game right now and guys who are considered to be old school, the torch bearers and those guys, everyone in between, basically. So my thing about this list is the fact that there wasn't any specific criteria about it. It was very vague. It didn't say the top 15 rappers of all time. It didn't say the top 15 rappers of today. It was very vague. So I didn't really know what to make of it per se. Now, if it was the top 5 rappers of the last 5 years, which would be today's current generation, then there's quite a few people who are missing on this list. But based on what I'm looking at right now, it looks to be a top 15 all-time list. And it's very interesting with the names that they came up with. So I have the list in my hand right now, and I'm going to jot them down for you. And I want to know what you guys think. Hit me up on Twitter at DM_cool, or hit up the show, cool_radio. So, in the order that they wrote it in, I'm not sure if this is like from 1 to 15 or whatever, but I'm going to name it anyway. Classified: Mercules, Mad Child, The Swollen Members, Cardinal Official, Chaos, Socrates, Kanon, Shad, JD Era, Maestro, A Grade, Sunreal, P Rain, Party Next Door, Lou Breeze, Snack the Ripper, Eternia, and bonus edition Rich Kid. Now, 2 things jumped out at me. One, there's a few of the rappers on that list that I haven't heard of. I think maybe 2 or 3 that didn't ring a bell. And 2, I had no idea that the Party Next Door was considered a rapper. That one flew way over my head. How is he considered? I thought he was an R&B singer. I've heard maybe like 2 songs from him. I didn't know he was a rapper. I don't know if it's like a Nate Dogg, Akon, T-Pain kind of thing that they're trying to give him, or if it's just a Drake affiliation. But nonetheless, I did not know that he was considered a rapper. So kudos for him to making a list, but again, I don't know what their criteria is, and it's very interesting that they put him on that list. So what are your thoughts? Let me know. But right now, we're going to fast track to the Throwback Thursday track of the day, and then afterwards, we're going to have our man Femi Lawson come through. Now, I know it's Caribbean time, so I got to give you some island rhythms and stuff like that. So with that being said, old school joint of the day is Sean Paul, Give Me the Lights, only on Cool Radio. You already know.
It's your man Chris Godrock.
What's up, my family? It's Maliki and Sweet Senorita.
It's your boy Dirty Girl. This is all meals from the critics. I just finished my interview at C.O.O.L Radio, and I'm just letting you guys know that you guys need to tune in every Thursday at 8 p.m. because this place is wild.
Of course! Don't touch that dial.
You miss your diss, you understand? Keep it locked.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Welcome back to the show, ladies and gentlemen. You're now tuned to CFRE 91.9 FM. It's your man, DM Cool. You're now tuned into Cool Radio. And I finally got the man of the hour in the building. And of course, like a true Niger man, he is running on African time.
Of course I'm on time. Nonsense. In fact, I'm even 30 minutes earlier than I was supposed to get to. I was supposed to get to for 9 o'clock.
You know what it is. My man Femi Lawson is in the building.
We out here, shout out to the, station for having me through today. It was a rough drive out there, a lot of traffic, deers were running into the streets, some catties were even running with their lace fronts,
my friend, please.
It's very hard, very, very hard.
You need to send them to the village and get them 2 goats for that.
Of course, now, no problem. Hey, you have to also shout out my boy in here right now. He was by a K, Bad Boys Entertainment,
Say what's up, K. Say what's up. Don't be shy.
What's up? It's your boy Kid from Bad Boys Entertainment.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
What's up?
All right, man. We're here to have fun right now, and we're going to extend this into overtime, actually, because that's what we do at summertime at CFRE, and that's a cool, click thing to do, you know what I mean? So, with that being said, Mr. Lawson, we got to get into who Mr. Lawson is. Tell the people who you are, man.
So, every time I introduce myself, I let people know that my name is Femi Lawson. Might be a lot of Femis out there. You know what I mean? Might be a lot of Lawsons out there, but at the end of the day, the tantalization is real. So you already know. I'm a pretty simple guy. I think a lot of people do know me from my YouTube skits. The way that even started was like, I remember, me and my boy Duke, shout out to Dookie Dukes. He kind of had a camera, and he always had a passion of recording things. And for me, it's like, in school I used to be in announcements. I've always been that guy who liked to host shows. I like to hold the crowd, right? And it's kind of been a passion of mine. So we just, started fooling around, doing this, this whole video thing. It was called Dukes and Bullet Productions at the time.
Okay.
A lot of people were in the group, and we used to just fool around. But we realized that we're generating, a pretty big fan base at a quick pace. And then one day, homegirl Latoya Forever came through. I remember Duke's room is we called it the Red Room.
Okay.
And I wrote a parody to Egyptian song, the Hold You joint, right?
I remember that one
still. Yeah. So I was like, I wrote it. I'm like, Latoya, you should do this. I brought it to the studio. We recorded it. Shout out to Snaz. And, Dukes one day said, all right, we're going to go to Bloor Street. We shot it. We did not know how this video was going to pick up, man. Like, I remember in the first day, I had like over 100,000 views.
Jesus.
Like, just a feeling of like, wow, like, that's something that I created in my own space, and for it to go viral was just crazy. Like, it's crazy. People hit me up today saying, "Oh, I seen your video as like one of the ads before watching my favorite video," kind of thing.
Nice.
So it's just crazy, this power of social media and like where it could take you. So for me specifically, like, I made sure that I took the momentum of like those videos, but I also focused on like my schooling. A lot of people don't know, like, I'm very serious when it comes to the school thing.
Hey, you're African.
Of course, now
you have to be.
I must go to school and what?
They need
read my book.
Your parents must tell you to tell their aunt and their uncles that you are in the school so they can break to them.
There you see that cousin of yours. Hey, straight A student, engineer, doctor.
She getting her master's.
Hey,
she's not going to do nothing with that diploma. She's just going to find a rich man.
Of course. Now, if I'm in this world, in order to do good, you must what? You must go to school, get your degree, and get your master's. And after your master's, get your PhD. But it's crazy, and being in a Nigerian household and like being an entertainer, that was also a struggle too, you know. But I think for my parents, when they started to see the accolades, and when they go out and their friends are like, you feel me, your son is so good. I was watching one video, hey, I was just laughing. So all that really, really helps. And I think over time I used that momentum, and I had crazy opportunity. I was blessed to, to go to the Virgin Islands to host Nigerian Summer in Paradise. I've been to New York City, Washington, hosting shows, and it's a really humbling experience. You know what I mean? For the fact that you could walk through the mall and someone's like, "Yo, I watch your videos. Can we get a picture?" Like, really humbled by that, and like, it kind of pushes me to do more.
Absolutely, and rightfully so, man. So with the YouTube success and everything, they must have offered you a partnership.
Yeah,
because
most
of the
definitely.
hits and stuff
Most
like
definitely.
that.
For me specifically, because I'm doing school and I'm working. I work with the Pan Am Games right now, so that's taking up a lot of my time. I haven't had time to focus too much on the YouTube grind. However, I have to put out videos every now and then, and I think for me, I don't put out videos weekly, but the videos that I do put out, they're timeless. Like you can watch it today,
anytime,
and then like not watch it for a while, and I'll watch it tomorrow, and it'll still give you that same feeling. And for me, it's like when I put thoughts in my video, I think of things that we can all relate to on an everyday basis. Not only the Nigerians, or not only people from Toronto, but worldwide. Like something that you can pick from. And it's crazy when I read my comments, because I read every single comment on my YouTube. I'm like a freaking narcissist. I make sure that I look at it. I'm like, oh, okay, cool. They like this about this video. They like that about that video. But at the end of the day, when I'm in my creative realm, I want to make a video that I can say I can relate to. That's me. I'm not faking it. When you see Femi in the streets, that's the same way you're going to see Femi in the YouTube video. You know what I mean? People will know that about me. So, I have a lot of fun with it.
Of course.
Sure.
Now, how did you and Marlon and LaToya and all these YouTube, addicts get together and just pretty much took over YouTube? Like, how did that come about?
It's crazy because the first time that I met LaToya was actually through my boy Dukes. And at the time, she was doing YouTube videos, but, she wasn't as big as she is now. Definitely, the video that we created together definitely gave her leverage, because I put it on her channel as well. I'd even put it on my channel. So right now, the video on her channel probably has close to 3 million views.
Sick.
And you know what? I would say that, LaToya, she grinded a lot. She did the videos. She didn't, she made sure that was her focus. And, consistency beats talent when talent doesn't work,
That's true.
So I definitely, applaud her and all her successes. And, she's doing her thing. And then Marlon, it's funny, me and Marlon, we worked at Wonderland together, from when we're, grade 9 or even before that kind of thing. Yeah, grade 9. And, he's a cool cat, man. I've known him for a long time, and I think our relationship kind of started when, from Wonderland, kind of we did this Fear Fest party. And it's crazy. We had all these girls come out and just party with us at Fear Fest.
I can only imagine how that turned out still.
It was a lot. Honestly, it was a lot of fun, man.
Yeah.
And me and Marlon's always kept in contact, and then when he started doing the YouTube thing, we're like, yo, let's do it together. And one thing about myself and Marlon, when we're doing things together, we always try to push ourselves to the next level. So if I see he's doing the Jamaican thing and he's everything airy and nice, I want to make sure the tantalization is on 100. You know what I mean?
Get him.
But it's dope, man. It's dope. And definitely have a lot of fun. When you vibe good and you have good energy with someone, people could pick that up. You know what I mean? So definitely is good energy all around when I'm bucking with those guys, for sure.
That's what's up. We'll pause on the YouTube stuff for a second. Let's talk about the Pan Am Games, because I got that IG post he sent at 6:30 in the morning, something like that.
Yeah.
And you're talking about how you're going to be on CP24 and all that, and you were talking about it. You mentioned the tantalizing fastball.
Of course, I had to plug that
I was waiting
in, though.
for tantalizing that. But yeah, how did you get involved with Pan Am anyway?
So for those that kind of know the real Femi, I've always been involved in kind of community oriented work. I grew up in the Jane Finch area, and one thing I recognized early was a lot of the programming was kind of the pizza and bus ticket kind of program. People weren't really gaining something and leaving with a mind state that there's a real world out there. So for me, I was just we got to create our own program. So myself and Duke, we started doing an organization called High Class. Through High Class, we met up with great mentors like Andrew Zamet. We did 106 in New York Urban Arts Festival, which is a big festival that we do every year. I'm one of the hosts, but I also sit in behind the scenes and I help out to in organizing it. And through those connections, my mentor, she received the job at Pan Am and was they're hiring. So, I gave him my resume, but because of my accolades and what I've been doing in the community, they looked into it, they interviewed me, and I was fortunate enough to start the community tour. And, it's going really well. Pan Am Games is going to be huge. 10,000 athletes and officials coming from, the different Pan American countries. And, we need over 20,000 volunteers. And it's good because, when I go out to some of these events, people can say, hey, this guy works at Pan Am, but I also know him from the YouTube thing. So, it makes that connection much easier. But I love what I do. You know what I mean? I'm all about the community, all about giving back. And, that's something I plan to do, kind of moving forward as well.
Absolutely. Now let's go back to YouTube and just media in general, which is what you primarly major in. Actually, you went to Ryerson for radio and television. Am I right on that?
No, I didn't actually.
Okay.
A lot of people don't know. I went to Ryerson and I have a major in criminal justice.
Okay.
A minor in sociology. Reason behind that, when you look at kind of the areas that we come from, there's a lot of racial profiling. There's a lot of unlawful things that do happen.
Yeah.
And instead of, just ranting and kind of like complaining about it, I was like, let me go to school, know my rights so I can kind of like have a voice.
Exactly.
And I think that's what kind of inhibited me to kind of get into the community work and kind of like focus more on the youth and like the message of today. You know what I mean? Youth, at the end of the day, sometimes they just want to have a conversation. You know what I mean? They don't want to be told what to do, when to do it. They want to be given advice from someone who has experience.
Exactly.
And I feel like, if you could connect with someone and just be real with them and keep it 100, that's the best way to kind of reach people. And that's one thing I strive to do. You know what I mean? Even my boy K here, when the way we connected, like, we kind of bucked up and like he actually brought me out to Ottawa to host a couple of his parties, and I would have never been put in that realm if someone just didn't reach out. And all it takes sometimes is just a conversation. Like we had a conversation on Instagram and it happened. So I look at those things as it's a blessing, and you get to kind of establish new friendships along the way, and I think that's really, really important to do for sure.
That's what's up, man. Now, as far as career aspirations, because pardon me, because you did do that stuff in school. Also, you have the media thing going for you as well. Where do you see yourself, career wise?
That's a very good question. I ask myself that every day. So currently, right now, I'm doing my master's, finishing that up. Community development. I know for sure that I'm always going to have a community type of background, whether that's for a non-for-profit, sorry. A government kind of organization, youth centered. But my main focus is definitely the acting. I definitely want to, start going for principal roles. I did a short film on my YouTube channel called Hard. People could check that out. And that kind of took me out of my element. I wasn't that funny character that everyone's kind of used to. It was more of a serious kind of character. And it was a good challenge for me as well. But I want to show people like, kind of like the different aspects of Femi Lawson, And I think that's something that I'm trying to build on right now, and, just building the brand and like making people be more aware of like who I am and like, look out for me. I'm definitely a force to be reckoned with. So
and that's what's up. You definitely are, man. A lot of people are going to hear about you in a short time. I guarantee that.
I appreciate that.
Now let's get into some more fun topics because, I'm not sure if you're familiar with Cool Radio and what we like to do here, but with the guests, we like to play games with the guests and stuff like that, have fun, let the people chill, hang out, let them get to see your personality and stuff like that.
That's what's up.
So we got two games for you, right? One personalized one just for you, and then we have another general one we get to later.
All right, cool.
First one is called Tantalization.
Hey,
we know we have to give you that one, man. Okay. So on that note, this game goes as follows. So I'm going to list a whole bunch of scenarios about females, right? Okay. Now, you're going to tell me whether that's a tantalizing feature about a woman, or if it's not.
My boy K actually came up with another word. Okay. It's called what was it? Tatalakin. Okay. Tantalakin.
Okay, so you're gonna tell me these girls are. I
gotta co-sign K on that one because if I start saying it to everyone will say it's my word.
Shout out to K. I might have to use that a couple times too.
Tantalakin.
So you're gonna tell me if these girls are tantalizing or they're tantalaking. All right.
Tantalakin.
Eesh. Hey.
No wala. All right, let's do it.
All right, so here we go, man. First scenario: a woman with natural hair, tantalizing or tantalaking?
It is absolutely tantalizing.
Hey.
Maximum.
Hey. All right, next scenario: a woman that's in school.
The tantalization is just on 100,000. In fact, it's on 1 million. But I bet again though, there are some dumb girls in school. It depends what you are doing in school. If you are going to school and you're going to class, tantalizing. But if you are just in school for fashion, tantalaking.
And just chewing the gum like pack all the time.
If you're not in school but you're working hard on just work alone.
Tantalizing.
Hey, I agree. Hey, next topic. Cocky, but has her own. Tantalizing or tantalaking?
I would say tantalizing. It's good that some of these females in today's day and age, confidence is definitely a big thing, and you can see confidence, and a lot of people are lacking confidence because they base it off of material things. But if you can internally love yourself for who you are, it's absolutely tantalizing.
Confidence is key.
It's very, very key. When you are walking past some girl that's confident, it's as if even though physically I don't know you, emotionally and spiritually I have known you forever.
We are connected over the energy that you are giving off.
No juju was involved.
No juju at all.
It is just
not at all.
It's the spirits that are just calling us to each other.
No rich doctor, no nothing.
No juju doctor, no fufu man.
No jollof.
Just life. No jollof rice, no fufu.
But she can cook the jollof.
If you can cook jollof rice, tantalizing, of course.
Not even going to ask. And the next one that we have, duck lips.
Duck lips. Wow, that is. Hey, I was not expecting that one. Who wrote these questions? I feel like
I wrote them. I had to brainstorm it out so I can get prepared.
Okay, what is your opinion on that one? This guy's a real Niger boy, by the way. I'm bootleg. I'm really Toronto. Okay. This guy's a real.
I was actually gonna ask if you were born here or Niger.
Bro, I was born here. Grew up in Gene and Finch.
So you have your papers.
But at the end of the day, that you already know. You feel me though. But then hanging around in Niger settings, in Niger home, especially copying my mom and dad.
Trust me, I know. I know the ways though.
Yeah, man.
I know the ways. My man K, he passed it on to you. So
me, I would say that is tantalization.
Say it louder in the mic so the people are here.
Me, I'll say that's tantalization.
Okay. Femi, what you say?
It is tantalization because of the utilization of the byproducts of our society individually. Some people, they use it for good. Some people use it for bad. I have never heard about duck lips being used in a bad way. If it was used bad, I will not support it. I will not. But in this case, it is lovely.
It is lovely.
It is beautiful.
And now let me ask you something. Like you see the girls with the natural doctors, it's natural in full. But you have the ones that they put the injection onto their lip and they look like fufu gone bad. They look like the Daffy Duck on the Looney Tunes.
Why do you have to ingest something that is not natural in your mouth? That's like me taking.
It look like two kinky that are wrapped up in the stuff in their mouth.
No, it's like two pieces of a bar just attached and they are going in my mouth. How are you doing, Femi? You don't know. The Adam was out here, eh? No. That is tanta lacking. If it's fake, it is tanta lacking.
I don't think we can even put the tanta up front of it. I think it's lacking so much and we just have to say lacking.
Hey, it doesn't even deserve the tanta.
It doesn't.
It is lacking.
Lacking.
And you have to say the C with a very harsh so they know. Lacking. Lacking.
That's all you got at bar mitzvah right now. Yeah. All right. And the final one, final scenario. Lace fronts that look real.
Okay, you can start this one. Okay. I have to go in Toronto more when it comes to the lace front things. Okay, what do you think?
I have to say it's tanta lacking.
Tanta lacking. You say the same, Femi? You say the same?
You see, if you take a carpet, the side of the carpet, and you decide to take scissors to cut the side of the carpet, then you put it on your head, wouldn't people call you crazy? Or they were saying, somebody has done juju to this lady. Oh, poor lady. But now you decide to go and put purple, pink, and blonde, red, colors of the rainbow on your head. And your girls have the nerve to be on Instagram saying, oh, too cute. That's my girl, sweetie, too fine. Why are you lying to your friend? You don't have good friends. You must go outside and go and find new friends to replace those rotten ones that made you put that rug on your head. Some of these lineups that I'm seeing with this lace front, it is even straighter than mine. What is all that nonsense? My goodness, I absolutely 110% it is tanta lacking. In fact, my blood pressure is, I need to take off my hat. My blood pressure is just getting hot thinking of the list. If I see Caribana Weekend and I see girls in lace front,
you're gonna see that. Come on, you know you're gonna see that.
I will see it. You know what I'm gonna do? Hopefully I have a vlog. I'm gonna ask them, what made you get the carpet in your head? I will ask them.
Now let me tell you something. Or let me ask you something actually. If you see the carpet on the girl's head at your jam tomorrow, will you kick them out?
You know what? I realized that people turn up in different ways. Some people, they need to drink alcohol. Some people, they smoke marijuana.
Ah.
Some people, they just wear lace fronts. And their girls will just be gassing them. Hey, too cute girl. Look at her. And they will be bragging, hey, this one is 17 inches. This is Brazilian. Some people will even say, this is Pakistanian. You get? I haven't heard about Niger lace front, but that one might be problematic.
Too much juju in that.
They might put some 419 in it. You'll just be reading out your credit card number without knowing it. Anyways.
Most definitely. That one needs its own green card in effect.
Oh my goodness.
It needs its own one. It needs its own one. Oh my gosh. Okay. I have to recompose myself after that one. My God. Now, the second game that we have, this one's a mainstay on this network. I like to call this I'd Quit the Game.
Every second, every minute, man, I swear that she can get it.
Now, you are living a player bachelor life. You're living, you're single, you're good. Now, here's the thing. You have to choose in between two females to quit the game for, all right? Only two.
Okay.
And I'm about to give you these two females. You have to choose between them.
Okay.
Now, I'm going to call this one the Destiny's Child edition.
Yeesh.
And it's not the ones you're thinking, though.
If you like it, they should have put a ring on it.
Eish. Oh, I have something to ask you about that in a second, actually, speaking of which. But would you quit the game for Michelle Williams or LaToya Luckett?
Oh.
This one needs some concentration.
You know what? I would say quit the game. Like that means like
forever and ever.
But I don't really know them like that.
It does not matter.
Yet. Maybe in 2 years they'll be my best friends.
Sure, but we don't know this.
I would say LaToya Luckett.
LaToya Luckett, okay.
Yeah, she just seems more, humble, like she's not caught up. Because sometimes when you have these mega celebrities, it's like, they just catch flights and they're on to the next, head gone.
Definitely, I agree 100%. Now, going back to put a ring on it, earlier in the show today, I was talking about how a lot of women are proposing to their men instead of the other way around. What is your thoughts on that?
I feel like, I'm an old school kind of person. I feel like the guy should love the girl more than the girl loves the guy. I feel like that's kind of like what makes for real love. Only because it's like the element of chase. Oftentimes I feel like females are more emotionally invested in relationships, whereas with guys it's like they're vested, but their interest can change as soon as a new Instagram picture comes, because that's just how our society is, which is really messed up. But I feel like, for a girl to do that, it takes a lot. And I think, as a guy, you would appreciate that. And if you're feeling the same way, you'd just look at that as an honor. I wouldn't wrong any female for doing it. But, in my ideal eyes, I would love, like, for my future wife, I would love to, like, be the one to propose. I feel kind of like a softer man if I'm like, the girl gets on the knee for me. And I'm like, I'm looking around like, oh my gosh, like, this is so emotional. I love you too. Like, nah, at the end of the day, I'm a Toronto man and a Niger boy. Hey, am I going to say my wife is the one that proposed to me? I must take control and just take the diamond and just say, hey, in fact, I will propose to you after, So, definitely.
I hear it. See, me, I'm not opposed to it. It'd be awkward. But at the same time, we have a lot of people, especially with women, they want like equality in society, right? And equality, you got to take the good or the bad in there, right? You can't just have it, when it's beneficial to you.
Most definitely.
You know what I'm saying? So, if you want equality, boom, you got it. Women proposing to men, that's equality right there in itself too. What I want my one to propose to me, I can't call that, right? Because you don't know when a propose or an engagement is happening. It just happens.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? So, shit, you better be the one to do it to her before she does it to you, if that's the case,
Exactly.
All right. Now, with that being said, and before we get to your jam happening tomorrow, we have a segment that we like to do on this show, and it celebrates the ratchets of the world.
Oh, word? That's what's up. It's a ratchet. It's a catty thing. We don't call them ratchets. Like, I hate that we use the word ratchet. We don't have to copy the states all the time.
I agree. You know what? I agree. But the more behavior I saw, I'm just like, damn, I feel so compelled to say it right now. But on that note, I like to call this segment Wankster of the Week. So let's drop that. Wankster of the Week. So for our first time listeners, including my man Femi Lawson over here, we like to award this weekly award to the people who make blunders, who are within the pop culture community, especially within hip hop and R&B. And you know, there are no exceptions. No matter who we like or who our allegiance falls in line with, anybody can get it. So on that note, this week's Wankster of the Week has to go to none other than Nicki Minaj. Nicki Minaj is getting the Wankster. And I'm going to tell you why. Earlier in the show, we were talking about the beef between Nicki Minaj and Iggy Azaelia. Yeah. And basically, I was saying, just to sum up things, that she was playing the runaround with Iggy, you know, sneak dissing her here and there and what have you. And I find it very ironic that she's doing this because her being a female rapper herself always likes to invite more females to come into the game when it's such male-dominated. So when I see her doing this to Iggy and then playing the race card, you know, almost to justify her actions, to me, that sounds like a cop-out. So on that note, I have no choice but to give her the Wankster of the Week. What do you feel about that?
I feel like, you know, when you have someone that's in a lane similar to you that you've been dominating for years, and you see that they're making a come-up, the best thing to do is to address it. You know what I mean? Because she sees it as, you know, I am running the game. You know what I mean? Similar to how, you know, like a Jay-Z and a Drake. You know what I mean? Jay-Z knows that his time is coming. And Drake is, you know, the young boy coming up. He's hungry. He's hungry. Jay has never mentioned someone in a rap or, you know, hopped on someone's beat to diss them. You know, he did that for Drake. You know what I mean? But because it's them, you know, it's accepted. It's males, you know. Whereas with Nicki, it's like, well, not only can you not do that, but you have to represent for all females. So it's a lot of pressure on her part. But at the end of the day, Nicki knows what time it is, yo. She just wants to body the game. And, yo, Remy's coming out. Better believe that Remy's going to start, you know, spitting some fire right now. You know, you know, the females, I listen to a lot of, like, you know, XM radio and, you know, Sway in the Morning, you know, all that kind of stuff. So I'm hearing a lot of female rappers starting to get some airplay, and, you know, they're really good. You know, my sister she's a female rapper.
Okay.
You know, Lola Buns, shout out to her. She's shooting her video actually on Sunday.
Dope.
She has a video on YouTube called Like This. So definitely you can check that out as well.
All right, that's what's up. And with that being said, I have no choice but to drop that Wankster on Nicki, because that ain't what you're supposed to do. So let's drop that Wankster on her real quick one more time. I was disappointed with her in that, because my thing is, it's like, yes, you have competition in the game, but you should embrace it. Do not sneak diss her and say, you know, I write my own stuff, or, you know, we still live in a racist society, and, like, don't use that as an excuse to show that you're afraid of Iggy. I mean, we don't know how long Iggy's gonna last, and I never saw Nicki really complain about how there's too many males who are dominating the charts with her. She embraced that, she ran with it, and I applaud her for that. But now you have a problem with another female in the game who just so happens to be white. I feel like she's trying to play that race angle.
I feel like at the end of the day, it is kind of obvious, though. Like, people have to realize that as much as we don't want to, you have to realize that this society, like, when you have, like, a female rapper who's white, she's going to make it, and she's going to have more buzz and more publicity than, you know, that, you know, the dark-skinned girl from Texas who's, like, spitting crazy fire. And you have to realize our society is based off of, like, you know, trying to achieve whiteness, you know, as we learn in Sociology 101. And, you know, that's why, you know, there's always debates about, you know, having, you know, the light-skinned girl in the video. What happens, you know, where's the equality there? But it's definitely a topic that I feel like needs to be addressed. But at the same time, it's rap. You know what I mean? Like, you got to take low blows. Like, look at when my boy won all the awards over everyone else. Macklemore. You know what I mean? Similar case. Like, to be honest, his lyrics are not all that. But at the end of the day, that's Dookie Dukes.
Hey, shouts to Dookie Dukes.
That's Dookie Dukes calling right now.
Okay.
And I'm just gonna tell him honestly, I'm on the radio. You
true nice of that, eh? Man, on the phone and on the radio at the
Dookie
same
Dukes,
time.
you know, best director in Toronto.
Hey,
guys, make sure you holler at him at Dookie Dukes on Twitter
with the plugins.
You know what I mean? I even put him on speaker. Maybe you guys can hear. Dukes, say what up.
Yo, what's poppin'?
Yes, Dukes. How you doing, bro?
That's what's up.
That's to tell you live on the air on Cool Radio.
I can't even hear.
I said you live on the air on Cool Radio.
What did you say?
Oh man, I can't even hear you.
He can't even hear. It's all good, man. All right, Dukes, I'm gonna hit you up, man.
Yeah, I'll let me.
Yeah, man. It's good to have good people in your circle. One thing I would say about Dukes is like
Yeah.
very positive-minded individual.
Yeah.
Definitely. I think we push each other, and I feel like that's important. Kind of going back to like the whole Nicki thing. Like, yeah, her team is the same way. Like they push each other. If they see someone that's in competition, you know what I mean, and let's say somebody's back talking, like somebody in the crew has you, like yo.
Yeah.
Drake will come through and be like, yo, Nicki Minaj is the best female rapper. Wheezy will be like, yo, I'm the president, she's the vice. Like, you know what I mean? They give each other that leverage. And I remember watching an interview with Ross, and he was like, yo, in order to like really move as a unit, you got to push your friend as much as you're going to push yourself. You understand what I'm saying? I feel like a lot of people are very selfish, especially here in Toronto. They always want to, have all the links and like, not really give you the number. They want to be the middle person.
Exactly.
When they know that, this could probably benefit you more than it'll benefit me.
Yeah.
Like you see something like, I'm a connector, man. I love doing that. Like if I have a resource that someone could use, why not use it?
Yeah.
If you get successful or you get somewhere far with it,
Yeah.
it was meant for you to have.
Exactly.
Why hold on to it?
Right.
And I feel like if more people worked like that and had that kind of mind state, like we'd be on some levels for sure.
I hear you. Now going back to the Nicki topic for just a quick second, when you're talking about whites are the ones who get ahead and stuff like that, and especially like when it comes to rap. Earlier on the show as well too, I was talking about that, and a lot of people will say that Iggy's getting success because she's white, but in reality, like she's only been successful ever since like maybe this year. Even when she was on that freshman cover, no one really knew who she was. And going back to rap in general, the only white successful rapper is Eminem. No one has achieved what he's done since then, and he's almost become a standard bearer for that. You look at guys like Asher Roth or Mac Miller or Apathy, or even some of the Canadian guys that classify Bishop Brigante. No one has achieved that level of success. When Paul Wall came out, no one really cared that he was a white rapper from the South. You even look at someone like Creation, who was huge when she first came out, and then her album came out and it just completely flopped.
But she I don't know. I thought that she was kind of like that gimmicky, Trinidad James type of, female rapper. I think Iggy actually, she has a look. I think, she could spit. I don't think as good as Nicki at all. But at the same time, she's commercial. Like, she'll sell.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
She definitely, I think people who kind of generate their own fan base off of social media, like, Iggy has her, the Twitter peeps that will just like vouch for her. But then Nicki, she has her peeps as well. So it kind of adds to that fire. And I feel that, the game definitely needs that diversity because it speaks to different markets. That one white girl who can rap, she can say that, I have this other white girl that I can look at. And, I feel like in all cultures, like, you'd be surprised when, that Asian girl comes out. They have a couple, Honey Cocaine, who's doing her thing as well.
Shouts to Major One, actually. She's been doing it for Toronto for a minute.
Yeah, for sure. So, there's a lot of them out there, but I definitely feel like, it's definitely a topic that can be discussed for days.
Trust me. Endless.
For sure.
Speaking of which, let's get to your jam that you're having tomorrow, man. Let the people know what's happening tomorrow in Toronto.
All right, KK, what you want to say about that party? What's it called?
Hey, that party.
After dark, it's going down at Estate Nightclub.
It's going down Estate Nightclub. We got myself and Malice TGLR. He's another YouTuber that's doing this thing. Honestly, this party's gonna be crazy. A lot of people don't even know we actually teamed up with another party, Trinidad and Jamaica. So it's gonna be turned.
Okay.
Like, Pants will be popping bottles, you guys catch me in the acting all, balling and stuff, and then on Monday, trying to gather my change so I can get on the bus, but you already know what it is. No, it's gonna be crazy though, you know what I mean? We got like, they're playing, soca, reggae, hip hop, little Afro tunes in there as well.
$20 tickets that we're selling today. Almost sold out. So definitely, cop your tickets. I know you copping like 5 tickets right after this interview though. Hey, big baller.
I try.
Chale. But it's gonna be at Estate Nightclub, 224 Richmond Street West. For more information, you can add me onto Instagram, Femi Lawson _ Abroad Boys. You can holler at him on Twitter stuff. What's your link?
At Abroad Boys or at KAYO _ABB.
All right, that's what's up. But it should be really, really good. It should be a lot of fun. It's Caribbean Friday, man. Let's turn up. Right?
And on that note, we got to go. Mr. Femi Lawson, thank you for coming through.
For sure. Make sure you guys check out my YouTube channel, youtube.com/bullet F Lawson altogether. The Twitter is @It's Mr. Lawson, and the Instagram is Femi Lawson _.
And make sure you come check him out tomorrow at Caravana After Dark. It's gonna be crazy. Booths, bottles sold out. It's going to be a crazy show.
For sure. You're going to be down there?
Of course I will. Of course. You already know I'm going to be down there.
That's what's up.
Thank you very much, sir.
Thanks
you are welcome to C.O.O.L Radio anytime. You give me the call, Western Union that.
little money on the side.
Little money on the side for the incentive.
Of course, for the tantalizing incentive. I want my name in the dictionary now next to tantalizing. I swear.
You have to.
I feel like I've claimed that.
You
word.
have to. When I saw the City Post interview, I was like, yo, if this guy does not say tantalizing, I'm giving him an angry letter. I swear to God. But yes, Mr. Lawson, thank you for coming through.
Thanks a lot,
We
man.
will see you another time. I guarantee that, most definitely.
For sure.
Ladies and gentlemen, that does it for another edition of C.O.O.L Radio, the extended overtime edition, if you will. Hit me up on Twitter at DM_cool, and you can also hit me up on the show at Cool_radio. And with that being said, I am your man, DM Cool, and we out of here. Peace.
Nah, man.